Hi everyone, welcome to the 92nd episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by sports journalist Katie Valutkevich.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, I'd like to shout out episode 31 guest Chen for technical directing once again. So, your last name stands out and might be familiar to Zicast listeners because your brother Sean was on last episode. But now I'm excited to get to hear your stories. How about you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so obviously, Sean's my brother. We're from the same hometown. It would be really funny if we weren't.
Yeah.
Just long lost siblings. But yeah, I like sports, especially football, hockey, racing a lot. Recently gotten more into baseball. So, but yeah, I mean, I did sports growing up. I love movies, same as Sean, and I love food. So.
Perfect. Now let's get into that sports interest. And how about you tell me kind of where your interest in that and kind of being like a sports journalist stems from?
So my interest for sports started when I was like probably going into like 5th or 6th grade. Obviously, I watched a lot of sports with my dad growing up, as we're big like Boston fans, and then also NASCAR, and recently got into like Formula One from the Netflix show. But yeah, I would just start watching with him, and I honestly found it very entertaining. And then especially watching like Aaron Andrews like on the sidelines doing the reporting, I was like, that's what I want to do. I literally said that in like our 5th grade graduation. I was like, this is what I'm doing as a career, because I was like, it just looks really fun and interesting. You just get to like cover games and be on TV like that. Like I don't think there's anything cooler than that.
So is she like your main source of inspiration?
Pretty much. I could even say like anyone else that's been like on ESPN, you know, but especially her, because I love how she carries herself and like how she reports. Even Sophia Yurkovich, I think is how you say her last name. She's on Nesson, so she covers more like the Boston Bruins.
Okay.
Because she definitely does like the intermission like reports. She's like more the host, and then I've seen videos of her do like sit downs with like some of the Bruins players, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like talk to them and like convey those stories. I just always thought it was like so interesting.
Yeah. So kind of like being like a sideline reporter, not necessarily like in a booth. You think like, you know how like the halftime report when they're at the table. That more of your things be on the sideline?
Sideline, or like I said, like on desk, like hosting or something for like a show, but still being able to, you know, give my opinion on it. Like, but not a full on analyst, because I'm like, I know sports, but I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I want to ask the questions.
Yeah. Or sideline reporting, it's more like matter of fact, more of like you said, reporting, interviewing players and coaches. And I'm also curious, like, well, also I forgot to ask what your specific major is.
Yeah, so I am a communications media studies major and a minor in journalism. I just declared that this year. So
Perfect. And so you've been able to kind of work in journalism with the television station here on campus, Q30. You work with their sports show, Sports Pause. Do you have any fun memories from that you'd like to share?
Okay, there's like a lot. I know, like, so last year I reported for Q30 for the women's hockey team with Anthony Rossi, Eli Ehlers, and Zach Stokinger. Yeah. And that was always a lot of fun. And then this year I reported for the acrobatics and tumbling team with Brianna Trachtenberg, the president. Yeah. Miranda Bertorti and Meg Buckley. They're all so sweet. Like I'm friends with them, and especially like me and Zach became like best friends like through doing beer reporting. So I'd say all of those are like really good memories, but definitely being on desk, especially like most recently this year, it was a lot of fun because I was more comfortable and I knew what I was doing. Yeah. And even the first time, because the first time I went on was with Gage Kilborn, and I was nervous. I was like, guys, I'm like panicking. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. I mean, I can remember my first time on desk. I was sweating like crazy.
Oh my God.
It's scary.
Every time I was doing a highlight, I was messing up and I kept swearing. They're like, Katie, you can't swear on air. And I'm like, I promise I won't. It's really hard.
Yeah. It's the Quinnipiac Tonight in you, which we'll get into later. And is there any like a specific favorite story or game you can think of that was really just like formative for you?
There was maybe two. One was the day I did a package for the National Women and Girls Sports Day. So I got to make that, and I thought that was really cool. So obviously I asked the women's head coach, Cass Turner, about it. And I think that's just such an important day, because it's like now women's sports has become like such a big thing. And then I'd say probably recently, especially like with any of the acrobatics and tumbling meets, with talking to their head coach, Marianne Powers, who is phenomenal. Like she's one of like the women that made the sport like for college, and she loves to talk, and I love it because she always says like such good things, and she's so sweet, and she loves that like we're there, and I've gotten to like have a one-on-one interview with her for our class project, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I love her so much. She's one of my favorite people.
Yeah. Would you say that's your favorite of the interviews you've been able to conduct?
Definitely that one-on-one I did for class. Yeah, that was definitely my favorite.
Awesome. And I was able to have, on my 47th episode, I had Catherine Carter, who's an acro tumbler. And she talked a lot about how cool their program is. And can you kind of brought up like, kind of covering like women in sports? Like, what do you want to say with your voice in the sports world?
I definitely want to convey the stories of athletes, whether it is I'm working for like the NFL or NHL, or if I'm working for PWHL, WNBA, like I'll do anything, but I really want to convey those stories. I also just want to show that, like, you know, like I said, women sports has really grown a lot in viewership, especially since probably the Paris Olympics, but even before then. And it's just such an amazing thing to see because it's such a male-dominant field that I'm like, I want to convey that, like, I know what I'm talking about, and like I have good thoughts, and I want to get the stories that people want to hear. Like, that's really what I want to do.
Yeah, and then kind of be someone like younger girls can look up to too in that field, and being able to work with all these people and being able to do the things in that sports field that men have done for a lot, like reporting and things like of that nature. And I brought up Quinnipiac Tonight, of course, a sketch comedy show here on campus. I've had a ton of people from it on here, so it was inevitable it was going to come up. So how would you tell us kind of about that experience for you and what that's meant to you?
So first off, I wasn't going to do it originally, because like by the time I came here last year, Sean was AP, and I told him I'm not gonna do it. Like, he asked me, "Oh, are you gonna audition?" I was like, "No," because I wanted it to be your thing. I wanted it to be separate. I always liked it because I watched it when he was on cast, so I always thought it was funny, and I'm like, "Oh, that'd be really cool to do." But I was like, "I'm gonna leave it to him." No, and he was like, "Pull out your computer. I'm making you audition." So he forced me to go and audition. And I remember that I had to do improv with McHanley and Michael Rada. So I remember that I made McHanley crack, which is a very, very hard thing to do. I made him laugh. And then, I just got in cast. And it's been, like, such a fun experience ever since. Like, it was some of, like, my favorite nights to be. Because it was just fun. You're with your friends. And even doing the skits, like, I have a lot of good memories, like, from there, especially with, like, Facebook Moms or the Bob Catcher, which was the first one I ever did.
Yes.
So, that was really fun. I loved doing that one.
Yeah, and it's always like something that's been echoed on here. It's like a family.
It is.
Did you have any like performing experience beforehand, like in theater or anything like that?
Well, I did gymnastics for like 12 years, so I kind of had to like on some of the events perform, but like never did theater. But I don't know. I just kind of was like, I guess I don't want to say it came naturally, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that, would you say it helped you in terms of like sports journalism or kind of like being on air too, like to have like the confidence to do that?
Definitely, because I kind of had it because my senior year of high school, I did like a news writing class for like our school news station, which I have another friend that goes here, and we've been going to school together since middle school, and he did it too.
Okay.
But so I already kind of knew, but then especially doing Quinnipiac Tonight, it became a lot more comfortable for me to be like talking in front of a camera, and then even like in front of an audience. I'm still not great at public speaking, but like at least when it was something like that where it's like I have my lines, I just have to do it. Yeah. It was just fun. So it definitely really helps, especially on air with like how I talk, or I have to like slow down because I can talk kind of fast.
Oh yeah. Especially like when you're in the moment, you start to talk fast, and like I've been like speaking on camera and stuff for so long, and even I still struggle at public speaking. So I very much understand what you mean, and I'm also curious if you have like any like specific favorite Quinnipiac Tonight show or sketch that you'd want to talk about.
Sketch, definitely Facebook Moms. The finale is one of those. Because we all on the side, on the whiteboard when it's like this menu and there's like an arm and a leg for an arm for a leg, or a wheel of cheese like $1,000. We were just making it up as we were going throughout the entire thing. I just remember seeing I was going to get shoved to the ground by Jack Gatta, Joseph as Deborah, and I was so excited. I was like, yes, I'm so excited for this part. But it was just so much fun to do. Bobcat Joyride, I had one line, but still, it was like such a fun thing to do. I had to pretend to be on like dates with EJ, Gorman, Anthony Accardi, and Jack Gatta. It was just really funny. I feel like any skit I did with everybody has been fun.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm a bit biased when Alyssa Venus and Anthony Icardi are in the skits. It's a lot of fun, especially with Alyssa, because I've gotten very close to her. So it's just always a good time and so many funny memories. I have like so many Snapchat memories from the skits.
Yeah.
And I'm just remembering this. I went to one of Sean's his freshman year because I was coming for Mid Students Day, and he was like,
nice.
"Oh, we're shooting a skit. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it was the Paw Patrol one. So that was the first time I met like all of his friends. And I was like, oh my God, wait, I've seen you guys. Like, I think I saw Jeff Fish. I probably got a little bit starstruck over Jeff Fish. I was like, oh my God, Jeff Fish.
He has aura. Yeah.
He has aura. Like, everyone knows him.
Yeah, and you saw the Paw Patrol sketch and didn't run away.
No.
So that's how you knew you were made for this life. Of course, Paw Patrol sketch, it's basically college students dressed as Paw Patrol characters. I think that's all we need to say.
Yeah.
In that regard. And I'm sure it's especially cool getting to work with your brother too, and get to be in his sketches and get to work with him and then be on the same cast as him when he was a cast member, would you say?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. He's very talented at what he does, like creatively. Like when he was making his sketches, like he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He had a plan. He was like, this is how we're gonna do it. And I was like, I'm just following what you're telling me, because he had a vision. He will run with it.
Yeah.
And then especially being on cast with him, it's intimidating because like everyone's like, oh my God, Sean's so cool and everything. And I'm like, that's a lot to live up to. But like, I haven't really felt much of like a favoritism, which has been great. So, and honestly, doing the stuff with him has been a lot more fun because I feel like I can do a lot more jokes almost in a sense with him versus other people. I almost try to rein it back because I don't know how far I can go.
Yeah. And you very much carved out your own path, and to continue kind of getting into that, how would you tell us some things people might not know about you, like fun facts?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, like I said, I really like racing. I mean, that's not a fun fact, but I mean, like the other day I had a friend, he was like, it was actually Anthony, he was like, are you an F1 girl? And I was like, yeah, because I had the race on during like one of the improv things, because I was watching Olivia Mascherino and then Michael Rada do their thing, which I paid attention to. But like, if I didn't really know anybody else, I kind of had it on my lap and I was just like watching it. So I guess you could say that.
Interesting. And then of course you share that with episode 66 guest Megan Haley, who's a producer on Quinnipiac Tonight. She's a huge F1 fan as well. So I don't know. I'm sure you're aware of that. So maybe you two can connect over that. What is it about F1 that you enjoy?
It's just like watching the cars, because like it's unlike NASCAR where it's a big oval for maybe like a mile or so, which is still fun to watch. But like F1, it's, you know, it's all these twists and turns, and then especially like it's a lot more, you see a lot more content of the drivers outside of it and just how they are. It's just like, it's so fun, and especially watching the Netflix series. Yeah. It's definitely a lot more personal. Like you get to know them, and you see all the behind the scenes stuff, and I just always thought it was like really interesting. So
yeah, and now let's race into the next topic. And I'll ask you, what's one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike, just in general?
Okay, I love rom-coms as like comfort for me. Dislike, I would like to think I don't dislike a lot of things, but I would say like people who have really big egos, I hate, because it's just really annoying.
Yeah, especially in collaborative fields like film or really most industries, but especially like communications, like running a Q30 show. If you have like a big ego, it's only going to make things more difficult for the whole process, because it's a team.
And luckily, everybody I've met hasn't had one. But like anytime I've seen it, even in like sports, you'll see different athletes, like some of them do have big egos. And I'm like, you're not cool. You look like an idiot. You're really annoying. And like they just don't care, and they're like, it's my way or the highway. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like you're gonna get fired.
Yeah, especially if they can't channel that into helping out the team.
Exactly.
Because there's been successful athletes with big egos, but it's kind of like finding a balance of that and understanding what it takes to succeed. And speaking of succeeding, I'd like to ask you what some of your hopes and dreams are professionally or in general.
Definitely helping show more like women in sports that, like, you know, we are capable of this. It's not just a male thing. Like whether it is like interviewing or even like also talking about like other female athletes too. like in the PWHL, which has been amazing for them. And then there's a female lacrosse league coming. So definitely want to like convey those. And then just like be somebody that like you said earlier, little girls like look up to. They want to be like, I want to be like her, like, and just like be an inspiration to people, I guess.
Yeah. Be like the sports reporter, not watching the Quinnipiac Tonight stuff.
Yes, like I'm like, no, like if any employer like, oh, we saw this on YouTube, I'm like, no, you didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
That was AI.
That was AI. What do you mean? Like I dressed up as a frat boy. Like
Yeah, and speaking of something that's not AI, what are some of your favorite movies?
Okay. 10 Things I Hate About You is probably my favorite movie ever. I love both the Top Gun movies.
Oh, awesome.
So like those I think are just so cool and so entertaining. Mamma Mia. It's such a very like girly path, but I'm like, but they're so good.
Yeah.
So I would even say Lilo and Stitch because that's probably like my favorite like Disney movie. So yeah, but especially emphasis on the 10 Things I Hate About You. That is my comfort movie. That is my favorite movie. I can never get sick of it. It has raised my standards in men. 100%.
Yeah. A lot to live up to. And yeah, and overall, Kate, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on here today and sharing these stories with us. And do you have any motivational words or plugs or anything you want to leave the audience with?
Just be kind. Like it goes a long way and you'll make more friends. And if like you're mean or you're like, you know, full of yourself, like a big ego, people are going to kind of be turned away from that and they're not going to want to work with you. Or if like you're kind, you're collaborative, even if you don't like the person, at least like be civil, like respect them. It's like you might not get along with them, but it's like, look, you're working together, like just respect each other. Like overall, just be kind to people. Yeah, and especially since like most of your success in life will just be dependent on how you work with people and how you interact with people. And Katie, I really appreciate you kind of sharing the story of working in this industry and trying to be a good role model and being able to kind of just work in this really cool field. And then also it's always been fun working with you in Quinnipiac Tonight and seeing your big attitude, if that's the way to put it. Sure, we'll go with
big
that.
Energy, I should say.
Aura,
yes, your big aura. And it's always been fun working with you, and I'm excited to see what you continue to do in sports journalism and comedy or wherever else.
Well, I'm excited to see what you do too.
Hey, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks for the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.